This amazing, beautiful lady that I met over a year ago at a conference. She exhibited confidence, poise, and conviction. Okay, she's a mother of two. She's an entrepreneur. She's a speaker. She's a trainer and transformational coach. And today, she adds on another accolade onto her belt. She has the title of an author, and we'll get her to speak more about her book and also, to talk about her story. The thing is, she believes when you change your mindset, your life has to follow. It is until you change your mindset, everything else will stay the same. And she absolutely, absolutely loves and adores sharing her tried and tested tools, techniques, and processes that have shifted her life and those she has coached. Today, she'll be sharing with us her journey, her struggles, and her story, as well as her new book. Okay, so let's join our hands to welcome this amazing lady and welcome Julie Shatlani Bulani. Julie, are you there?
Hi, thank you so much, Carol. I honor you. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction.
Oh, I'm thankful that you said yes, because I wasn't sure whether if you're okay, to come on to the show as well. Because some people are saying, you know what, I'm a little stage shy. I don't want to go on live. I don't know what to talk about. So yeah, it has been a journey, and I really want to thank you. And for you, looking at you right now, you look amazing as always, just as I remember you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and so do you, Carol.
Thank you. And we have a few people who are online that want to say hi to you. We have BB Tegan saying hi.
Hi, BB.
Hello. Yeah. So this is actually a full interactive, Facebook Live. So anyone, for audience who are actually tuning in right now, so if you can actually put your comments and any questions that you would like to ask Julie later on, just put it onto the comments below. So we're going to have, first of all, we're going to start with understanding and to get to know Julie, who she is, her struggles, and if any questions, we will leave it towards the end of the show. So, keep your interaction coming, because the more you give us, the more we can actually give it back to you. Okay, so yeah. So Julie, this is as I mentioned to you, it's just going to be something just like a chit chat. It's not going to be like a full on this serious interview, because I don't see you as like this super serious person. I see you as a very, very fun person, right? So would you just share with us a little bit, more about yourself, and who exactly is Julie?
Wow. Oh, I have to take you on a journey. Are you ready for that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Come on, hit us with it.
Well, to start with, thank you for the beautiful introduction of saying that when you first met me, what you saw was a lady of poise, a lady of confidence, and a lady of conviction. Thank you. But I would love to take you on a journey where it wasn't always like that for me. I feel quite honored to receive that from you, because there were times when I felt I lacked all of it. There was times, if I take you back to a couple of years before, I felt I lacked poise, I felt I lacked confidence, I felt I lacked conviction. And I found myself at a maze where I felt disconnected from my inner core, from my inner strength, from the Julie that you're seeking to get to know now. I kind of felt I'm not even aware of who I am and what I want. I'm not sure if you can resonate with that. I felt like I lost myself somewhere. I felt like because life changed for me, I got so engrossed on the change that I didn't take it on my stride and grow from the change, but the change brought me backwards. And what had happened then was I thought that was normal. What had happened then was I thought it's normal for change to take you backwards. I didn't see potential in change for growth, because it was something that was not in my beliefs, in my DNA. It was something that wasn't ingrained in me, and I didn't know better, and I thought that's it, that's life, right? So taking you back on that journey, I'm taking myself back on that journey, and I can't connect with that woman now, but it was if negative was too strong a word, I'm not sure, because I always thought I believed myself to be a positive woman. But somehow when changes happened, I went under that. I went below the change, and I did not rise above like how your show is to rise. And I think I was down that route for a couple of years. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it was a new change. I come from Bangkok, Thailand, so I was born and raised there. And then I got married, and then I moved to Singapore, which was a new place for me. I'm living with someone else who's my husband now. I'm living with his family. And then before I know it, I'm in a new place, new environment. And before I know it, I'm pregnant 3 months later to be a mom. So there was another
Okay.
change that came onto me.
Mm.
And then I had my own patterns of belief systems that I
Mm.
witnessed from my mom. But that time, I didn't understand there was a thing called limiting beliefs. That was
Mm.
not a term that I was aware of. So I wasn't even aware of some subconscious patterns that I had taken from my own mom into my marriage. And then the most amazing thing is that I come into a family that also have their own subconscious patterns. So I'm taking on the belief system that are not originally mine, because I had a belief system which I believe was fairly positive. But when I took on a different role, which was motherhood, I kind of had a pattern unknowingly of my mom. And then I come into a family and then I take a pattern unknowingly of my mother-in-law. And suddenly I become a mom who is not the mom I saw myself to be. So it was quite interesting because I am a mother of two beautiful children. I was a mother of two beautiful children, but what had happened was I wasn't the mother I always saw myself to be. I don't know if that makes sense. And
Mm.
and interestingly so, I think I was going through depression, but I wasn't aware of it. I was in denial that I could be under depression because I always thought, oh, I'm this positive woman. So it was ego and a lot of things standing in my way for me to understand that I'm actually in depression, and for me to even go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to seek help. So
Mm.
sometimes I think as women, we think we're Wonder Women. So we feel that, oh,
Mm.
we're going to hold on to this facade of being Miss or Mrs. Perfect, and oh, we can handle it all. And we're smiling outside, but internally we're crying and nobody even knows.
Mm.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you can resonate with that as
Oh,
well.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I like to throw this out, to the audience. Have you actually experienced it yourself? Right. For me, when you say all of that you have gone through, and it was as if I was actually listening to my own stories, because I'm a
Wow.
mother of two as well. And then when my kids were young, I made the choice to stay home, to take care of my kids. And then suddenly, from a person who is
Mm-hmm.
highly educated and I have a career, suddenly I have no job. I'm stuck at home with two kids. And then I started to wonder, what am I going to do with my life? And then suddenly, this person that I thought I was became somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whatever you're saying is
Absolutely.
like,
So
yeah,
exactly the mirror reflection. Absolutely.
yeah. And was that the reason why you started coaching in the first place? To
Absolutely.
find
So,
yourself?
sorry.
Was it to find yourself?
Yeah, it wasn't a conscious decision. I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
help myself. And
Yeah.
I was looking for different avenues to help myself. And I was just looking to find my purpose, to find my passion, to find what is it that Julie wants, because I'd forgotten it. When you stop following what your heart desires, you actually forget that you have any desires. So I think I reached that point where I thought, oh yeah, I'm a mother of two children. That defines me. And then, interestingly so, I thought, okay, maybe I need to step out of this box. Maybe I need to
Mm.
do something else to find my passion and purpose. And what started first before coaching was I started a business, actually. So I started a
Mm.
beauty business, and I didn't even know if that's what I wanted to do, but I was just looking for something to step out of my comfort zone at that point. So I thought, okay, I want to start something which is close to my vicinity, close to my comfort, and at the same time, I should be able to balance being a mother of two beautiful children and at the same time run a business. So I found something close to home. It was a beauty business. I expanded to doing more services with time. But what was interesting is, so I'm in front of a beauty business, and so I'm the main person. People look at me as a beauty consultant. I had other staff doing the services, and I was just at the forefront.
Mm.
And they would be like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and I get all these compliments, and that was my awakening, because I suddenly found that even before I started my business, even before I lost myself and I was this confident single woman before I got married and before I had kids, I had people telling me I'm beautiful, and I acknowledged and received that as a compliment. But I found myself a few years later that people are telling me the same thing, but I wasn't able to receive the compliment. I didn't feel beautiful. So that was my awakening. I'm getting complimented, but I'm not able to receive it. And then I knew that something had to be fixed, maybe not externally, but something had to be fixed internally. And that got me into a journey of inner work, into a journey of personal development. And before I knew it, the first thing I discovered was neuro-linguistic programming. So that's a lot about mindset. And that fascinated me so much. And it transformed my life because I use all the tools, techniques, and processes on me. And you won't believe it, Carol, and everyone else that's listening, that 6 months later, I find that my life transformed. 6 months later, I find that I'm gaining my confidence back. So then I realized, actually, how many of us can be in a situation where we feel that our environment, circumstances, or situations are the cause of our misery, but actually, it's not. If we just change our mindset, our life changes. And I know we hear these statements a lot and we think, oh, what crap is that? But actually, until you witness it and you live it and you use all the tools within your own mind and you see the power behind it and you realize that, oh my God, actually, I'm in charge of my life. I am the creator of my life. And that awakening made me feel passionate about this journey. I self-coached myself. And then I felt, I mean, how many people could be in the situation that I found myself in? And how many of them would be stuck there because they wouldn't get out of that comfort zone? And I just thought, I'm so passionate about this journey because I've witnessed it through my own life. And I realized that when I'm able to witness it through the life of others, it gives me double the happiness. And so it's really a journey of passion, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I really love what you shared because, in order to give, we can't run on being empty, right? So in order to give, we have to first be filled first so that we have extra in order to give. And I totally, support what you said about no negativity about it. Let's do away with the negativity about NLP. Let's talk about the positive. Because it's more like it's developed by psychologists. So it has got all these psychology techniques and tools. Because I myself is also NLP certified, and when I talk to people about it, it's actually the tools that I also use. When I work with my clients and yeah, and I always thought that having this mindset change is really a decision. Before I started working on myself, I always thought it was actually it's a decision, but it's more than just a decision because you need some kind of a guidance. You need some kind of tools, in order to help you to do that, right? And then for you, right, being a coach yourself, using these tools to help your clients to transform. Right. So what are all the, I'm curious, what are the various misconceptions surrounding the work that you do as a coach using NLP as a tool, for example?
Various misconceptions about that, I would say, is a lot of people, I tend to feel that, like, they feel that you're a coach. So because you're a coach, you are standing in authority because you have certain tools and techniques that you want to share with them and impart with them what has helped you and helped your other clients. But at the same time, you're not perfect. So I think the misconception is that they're expecting or seeing you as perfect. And sometimes that can be intimidating, but you're not standing there to be perfect. Because obviously no one is perfect. And then, and then that is disheartening because they're not able to even achieve their goal, because if they look at you as perfect, and they're coming to you for help at the point where they feel their lowest, it seems like a very big gap between where they are and where they want to go.
Yeah.
So I want to clear that misconception that no one is perfect. Everyone is a work in progress. Till date, I constantly am working on myself. And hence, I honor Rise for this platform, because this is a beautiful and authentic platform for sharing the truth. It's not that facade where we see people. A lot of times there is platforms for the superstars, for the people that have made it there for years to come. And you look at them and there's such a big gap. Even for me, if I'm to look at someone like really out there, I'll be like, oh, this person can do this because this person is that. But you forget that this person started somewhere. Did you even know of this person's existence when he or she started his journey? You only heard about that superstar when that star became a star. So why can't we all believe in ourselves as much and know that we are stars in our own field?
Yeah, indeed. And that's very, very well said, to be very frank with you. And I'll always tell the people that I interact with, it's like, you know, for us women, we have too many conversations in our head. We always tell ourselves that we can't do it, you know, or we will actually talk ourselves not to do it, right? And then this is something, it is really a sort of self-limiting belief, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah. And why is
Absolutely.
it
In
so
fact,
important? Yeah,
why
you were
is it,
saying?
sorry? Yeah, I
Yeah.
said absolutely. When you said that, we always tell ourselves that we can't do it. And that itself is a self-limiting belief. And that itself, you don't realize your words have so much power that that itself stops you from going ahead.
Mm.
The two magical sentences that was life-changing for me, and I would love to share with all of you, is that I choose to do this and I choose to feel great about doing this. And this is something I share with my kids as well. They're as young as 6 and 5. And when I see them having fearful, fear impart on them for different situations, like for example, my older daughter for the longest time was fearful of the water and for swimming. And I would always say, Hiranya, go to the pool and say, I choose to do this. I choose to feel great about it. Because every time she would say, I'm scared, and she wouldn't be able to go into the pool. And those sentences has been life-changing, not only for myself, but I've witnessed it with my young kids as well. So I love sharing those sentences when I get a chance. Is I choose to do this and I
Mm.
choose to feel great about doing this. Try that in any circumstance or situation you find yourself in where you feel that you want to do it, but there's something stopping you. Just say
Mhm.
that and you'll be amazed at how much power are there on those two sentences itself.
Yeah. And if you have to share with us, you know, what is it important for women in particular, like to have this mindset change? Because you have gone through the journey and then you have actually transformed, right? But why is it so important and why are you doing what you're doing right now?
It is really important, specifically for women, I feel, is because we are shaping the next generation. I mean, we are the
Mhm.
mothers and the pillar of support of the family. And if you are going to limit yourself by the limiting beliefs that you have taken upon yourself, then you're limiting the future generation. So my inspiration, honestly, was when I found myself in depression and I found myself at a helpless situation. What gave me the courage and the inspiration at that time was my children, because I looked at them and I realized that I'm not the mom I foreseed
Mm.
myself to be, and they are facing the loss of that. Because if I can't even inspire myself and look up to who I am at that point when I found myself at my lowest, then how am I expecting my kids to look up to me? What
Mm.
example am I setting? And then I realized my limiting beliefs um, came from also from my own parents, right? So I realized that our parents do the best they can with what they had at that point. But
Mm.
right now, if I am consciously getting aware that what I'm doing is kind of in my own way limiting the growth of my child, because if I'm limiting my growth in some way subconsciously, I'm limiting their growth. What am I teaching them? So life is great and yeah, have all you want, which is what we give to them as parents, right? But you know what, when you get married and you have kids, life stops. Because if I'm practicing that on myself, then they're going to do the same thing, because I reflected back on my journey that that's what I saw my mom doing. That's what I saw. I understand people that I was around at that time, the people that was around, oh, once you're a mother, life changes. Oh, once you're a mother, da da da. Once you're a mother, it's all about your kids. So all of this programs was installed onto me unconsciously, even though I perceived myself being different from what I hear, I became that woman because I received all those words around me. So I thought, oh my God, I may think that I will be this inspirational woman, or I may think that I'm going to give my kids the world by sacrificing my life. But when they become mothers in the future, what makes me think that they will be giving themselves the world? What makes me think that they will live a happy life? Because they're going to think now they've got to sacrifice their world after they have kids. And that was my biggest awakening, literally. And I
Yeah.
thought I had to help myself and get on this journey. And my
Mhm.
kids actually inspired me.
Mm. Wow, yeah. And just when you are sharing all that, I mean, I'm really thankful for you, you know, being so open and so raw about your journey, your struggles, and how you become who you are today. As you were sharing earlier, you know, I had this little like trigger in terms of why I decided to to take a leap of faith to go into an entrepreneurship, to go into coaching in the first place. Because my daughter came to me one day and then she said, you know, Mommy, one day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to find my Prince Charming and I'm gonna get married, and I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom like you. Yeah, and when she said that, alarm just went off on my head. I was like, no, 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 you can't, because that was all she knew, right? You know, for kids, right? They model after us, right? That was all she knew. To her, it's like, my mom's like this, so I want to be my mom, because we are like the role models, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I was like, hang on a second, before you came, I had a career. You know, I had a good job, you know, and then your father fell in love with the woman who has it all. You know, not this what you see right now.
Right.
And so that was also, you know, in fact, in terms of my childhood, that was also because I look at my mom. My mom was a full-time stay-at-home mom. I look at her, I was like, yeah, and this is what I want. You know, I want to get married and I live happily ever after, right? But then, you know, the so-called happily ever after just doesn't present itself. You have to make it happen, right? And that's why it's so important. It's so important to empower the next generation, as you actually share. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love what you shared, Carol. It also brought me back to my my inspiration as well, is that when you said you told your daughter that it wasn't always this way. Before you got married to your Prince Charming, what happened is you had it all, right? So we forget that actually when we get married, I mean, some of us that do that and we give up everything, we are not only not giving our best to our kids, because they're not getting to witness that. We are also not giving our best to our partner who married us for who we were.
Yeah.
So when I had that awakening, because when I felt my loss of self, and I thought I was making compromises, I thought at that time for the betterment of everyone else. So we live under this illusion, oh, this is for the highest of good, and this is for the best, because, okay, maybe being a stay-home mom, I'm giving more to my children. Being a stay-home mom, I'm able to be there for my partner, my husband, as and when he needs me. But we don't realize that that's not he chose to marry. So we are also being unfair, we're actually being unfair to everyone else, thinking we're compromising for everyone else.
Yeah. So we always think that, you know, we are this like self-sacrificial women, you know, we give everything.
And you don't need to. You don't need to, because actually when you find and you start honoring yourself, you'll be amazed that people around you honor you as well. And they're actually happier with the change, because when you start loving yourself more, you're able to give more love to them. When you lack self-love, which happens to maybe a lot of mothers who compromise, so obviously that falls into a platform where you start having it's a lack of self-love for yourself. How do you think, like you said, if your cup is not full, how are you going to overflow to the rest? It's the same thing as with oxygen mask. You must always put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then you can help another life. But you know, it's just about being aware of what you're doing and conscious about what you're doing.
Yeah, and I really like the way you put it. You know, this is something has been taught to us. You know, every time you get on a plane, say, you know, put on the oxygen mask first, and then before you help others, right? And then the thing is, people tend to forget, and you know, I think it's this internal narrative that women have. You know, it's like, oh, if I were to do it for myself first, and am I going to be selfish? Are they going to see me as being selfish? You know, and then they can't have that mindset switch. You see. So what would you recommend, you know, for women who are thinking this way? If I take care of myself first, I'm being selfish. So I need to be selfless, because especially in Asian society, we are taught to be selfless, right?
Absolutely. It comes back to the same thing actually, which I mentioned, which is we are labeling it as selfish when we're doing things for ourselves, but you're actually not being selfish, because the truth of it all is, as you will know now, as you come out of it, and as I know, as I've come out of it, is that when you're able to fill your cup first, and so basically my key thing is that self-love is the journey to selfless love. Most of us think that self-love is selfishness, but actually self-love is the journey to selfless love. And the ones that have experienced it know it, because you're able to give so much that you surprise people around you, and then people wonder, how do you have time to do so much? And I felt this in my journey, well, where before I felt the same, which is I thought I was being selfless by compromising and doing things more for others and putting myself at the most least priority, right? But in the process, I didn't have time. So I wasn't doing as much as I'm doing today, but I didn't have time then. And now it amazes me that I have time, and time has expanded itself, and I can be who I want and do what I want, and yet give so much to others. And I'm able to do that because my journey really started from self-love. When your cup is full, you just overflow, and it happens effortlessly. It's so seamless, and then you get credit for doing things for people, and you're like, oh, that just happened. But it wasn't the case before. Well, before, when I thought I was compromising and I was being selfless at that time. I couldn't do things for anyone because I didn't have time. I was too busy. But how come when I'm doing more, I have more time?
So food for thought for people who are watching this recording or this live itself, right? Because if for those people who just tune in, who don't know about Julie, Julie she's like a serial entrepreneur. Okay, you have a nail salon. Right? So it started out with beauty. Right? I remember you told me you have a nail salon. You are a transformation coach. You are coaching, and you're a trainer, right? And then
and I still have time to do anything and everything I please to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look at you. It's like you definitely have you're looking amazing, and I think it's part of self-love. Yeah, it's part of self-love. Is all about taking care of ourselves as well, because it's like I just can't imagine that if that we look at ourselves in the mirror. That for me, in fact, I can't imagine that if I want to look at myself in the mirror and then I look unkept, then that it actually switches the mindset. It's like, oh gosh, I look horrible, and then after you end up having a horrible day, and you start treating people horribly, right?
Absolutely.
And then self-care, self-love is about putting just, even if it's just getting up maybe 30 minutes earlier, just to do your makeup, even if you're not going anywhere, just for ourselves, right? And then when I look at you right now, it's like, yeah, sometimes people wonder, how does Julie find all the time? How do you balance all of that, and then to look the way you look right now?
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, really, the secret is really, really, really self-love. You just brought me back to my own journey, the flashback. When you said, even if it's waking up half an hour before time. So how did I start my journey? I mean, this is something I'd like to share as a tip who find themselves struggling and not able to find time for themselves, right? So I found myself at that position a few years ago. And I thought, how can I ever do anything or make time for myself to study or research or do whatever I want to do, or even discover my purpose, my passion? There was no time because everything was evolved around everyone else. But that's when I said to myself, okay, let me be truthful to myself. A lot of times we lie to ourselves, right? So, okay, so if I'm busy from 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. onwards after my kids wake up, which I found myself busy at that time. So if I really want to do something for myself, and my life would change, could I start waking up earlier? So my journey also started with when I wanted to write a book, and I thought there was no time for writing a book. I'll use this example. So where am I going to find time to write a book? I'm a mom. I run my own business. I obviously live with my in-laws as well. I have my husband. So it's like everyone's needs, my business, my kids, their classes. It just is enough, and I can't find time for anything else, right? So, but I really wanted to do this. This was my dream. And I said, okay, if you really want to do this, why can't you wake up an hour earlier every day? And that's really how my journey started. And I'm so grateful because waking up for my book with a purpose. So there was a purpose to write my book. In the past, if my alarm rang even half an hour earlier, I would snooze. But because there was a purpose behind my mission, every time the alarm rang, I would wake up and start writing. So even if it was an hour or 2 hours every single day, I took that time out. And what was amazing is that the way I got out of bed was a transformation for me, because I would jump out of bed when the alarm would ring and I would look forward to writing. And that's when I realized actually the secrets to everyone's energy levels is actually their purpose and their passion. Because I woke up on, even if I slept for a few hours, I would wake up with a different energy level because of my commitment that I was going to write and commit to this every single day. So coming back to your question.
Yeah, so how do we find our time? So I guess you already answered the question. You see, just find your purpose. This is what I hear from you. Find your purpose, and then make an intention to wake up earlier, so that you can take care of yourself first. Then you can take care of others. That's what I get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for people who don't know their purpose and their passion, which I didn't as well, just make that time. If you feel you have no time, wake up an hour earlier. Do something for yourself in that hour, whatever it is that you love. I mean, if you love painting, for example, just wake up and paint. If you don't know what you love at that point, wake up and, maybe do some sort of workout.
Yeah.
Commit to your well-being. Do anything that helps you commit to your well-being if you don't know what to do when you wake up an hour earlier. Or if you've always wanted to do something and you feel you don't have time, well, wake up an hour earlier and make that time. And you will be amazed. That will be the beginning of transformation.
Yeah, indeed. So I'd like to focus the attention on our viewers for a couple of minutes. We have Randy, coming on and say, "Good job, Julie."
Hi, Randy. Thank you for being here. He's from the US. Wow, thank you.
Wow, thank you. And then we have Kiran as well, and Kiran says, "So proud of you, Jules."
Thank you. I'm so honored for your presence. Thank you so much. From Jakarta.
Oh, wow. You get friends tuning in from all over the world. And of course, for those people who are watching us today, if you have a burning question for Julie, do put in on the comments below so that she can answer your question. So if it's okay for you, Julie, we have a question. Okay, this is question for
Absolutely. I'm honored to answer.
Thanks, Julie and Carol. I notice that women usually have many different identities. Is it true? Like, for example, as a mother, a girl, a businesswoman, author, breadwinner, caretaker, helper around the house. And therefore, many more different conversations from identities in the woman's head too.
Wow. Such a powerful question. Thank you for that question, actually. I mean, I'm sure your question, I didn't get the name of the person who asked this question.
Okay, the person is
Sudhvi, is it?
Yes.
Sudhvi. Yeah, thank you for that question, Sudhvi, because this is such a powerful question, and I'm happy and delighted to answer this, because I know this will be an answer that will be wanting to be received by other women as well. I love the question because I totally connect with it. I think maybe a few years ago, or maybe up until 2 years ago as well, I felt the same way. Similarly, like you asked a question and I thought, yes, we have many roles to play, we have many identities, and we're supposed to be a different person when we are a daughter-in-law, we're supposed to be a different person when we are an author, and we're supposed to be a different person when we are with our kids. But you know what? I found this magical potion, and it's really helped me in my life. And again, it's expanded my time, because what we are so busy doing is we're masking ourselves unknowingly. So, okay, for example, in my business, I'm supposed to be standing in this position and I'm supposed to speak to my client in this manner. And to be honest, I went through that phase too. I did it too. And the blessing has been actually my book as well, because I knew I have changed along the way, and I worked on myself consciously and unconsciously, because when I got this title of the author, I was in alignment. And that was the most beautiful feeling, because I was over this whole facade of saying, oh, now I'm an author, I've got to behave this way. There was none of that false facade over me. And for me, that was my gratitude for how much I've grown, because that was growth to me. And I realized I'm so free, I'm so light. I've got so much energy because I'm not wasting my time and my energy masking myself. That as a mom, I'm supposed to be like this. As a client, I'm supposed to be like this. As a friend, I'm supposed to be like this. So now I am in alignment. I am me at all times. It does not matter who is in front of me. I just believe that the power lies in just being myself. And the power lies in all of us if we can just be ourselves. And we don't realize that we actually cage ourselves by masking ourselves. We're not able to shine that inner beauty that radiates in all of us when we're masking ourselves. And if I could just share any advice to anyone, is just be true to you. And that itself will be a transformation. Be true to yourself, and you would be amazed how people receive you. A lot of times we mask ourselves because we think we want to impress the other person. We mask ourselves because we feel that we're not good enough. So we have to be someone else for someone else to accept us. But actually, that actually disconnects you from any relationship because you're not even being yourself. So how do you think you're going to connect with the other person? The moment you act as your truth, the moment you act as yourself, you will connect with that person on another level. For example, even as a mom, if you're going to be like, oh, I'm a mom, I have to behave a certain way so that my kid listens to me, you will notice that there is a gap in that closeness between the kid and you. You will notice that sometimes I get clients telling me, oh, my kids don't listen to me. And interestingly so, when I've seen their interactions with their kids, there is a barrier because there is that barrier of being a mom and being this person playing this role, but not being a friend to the child, or not even being him or herself, masking him or herself, not even sharing his or her desires, not even giving importance to his or her role in life. So the child also treats you that way, because if you're not giving yourself importance, why do you think your child is going to give you importance and listen to you?
Yeah.
And if you're masking yourself from your child, then how are you going to connect? How is the child really going to connect with you? And I believe that your children only listen to you when you connect with them. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope it's clear enough. I mean,
yeah. Okay, well, I absolutely love what you said. With the next question I'm going to have for you, we actually talked about your book, because since you already flashed your book, if we may have a good view of your book, tell us a little bit more about your book.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The book says, "Bring out the creator in you." So tell us a little bit more about your book. The journey of writing this book, and what is your book about?
Okay, so this book actually, before I tell you about the journey of my book, if it's okay, if I can just read just a few sentences, which is actually a dedication. So it's not talking about my book, but it's a dedication, because honestly, this book is dedicated to you. I didn't see or feel possibility to write this book if it wasn't for you. Without you, this book would have never existed. I dedicate and honor, just nail it, bring out the creator in you to you. I love you, I thank you, and I honor you today and always. So coming back to my book, this book is actually made for you. This book is actually for you. And the importance of this book will actually come from you. So I believe what is interesting is I wrote this book 2 years ago. And it was a dedicated and committed journey of 6 months of writing the book, to be honest. But the process of, how I wanted to publish it, what I wanted to do forth with this, took a longer process. So what was interesting is by the time my book got published, I'm like, what's my book about? So this is raw and real Julie speaking to you. So I was like, oh my God, so I was discussing with my husband. So what was interesting is, because my husband is very close to me in this journey, he knows everything I'm going through. So I shared with him, when I was writing the book, I would read every chapter to him. So I could hear his feedback, I could hear my own voice towards it, I could hear what he understands from it and what I could. And the best part is, he's the biggest critic I know. So it was very important that I read it to him. And so when I said, oh my God, what's my book about? And it was amazing to hear about my book from my husband. And I was like, wow. And so my journey about mindset is, it's a very interesting journey, because it also helped me get closer to my husband, because he didn't believe in this journey about mindset. But the best part is, he witnessed every change through me, right? Because we live in the same house. Yeah. So when he saw all these shifts happening with me, and then he thought, okay, there is some truth to this mindset thing. Otherwise, it was all bullshit, according to him. And then he witnessed all these shifts with me. And when I read the book to him, every time I wrote a chapter, what I found amazing is that I was reading to him just to read to him. But at the same time, he was gaining so much from it that he was shifting. Every time I read a chapter, I saw that and felt that my husband was changing. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is great, because this tells me that this book has the power to rewire you. This is why I wrote the book. I wrote the book so that anyone who reads it is able to break through their own limiting beliefs, is able to break through their own situation of finding themselves stuck in whatever environment, situation, or circumstance they are in, because they will realize, actually, it's not the environment, it's not the circumstance, it's not the situation, it's them holding themselves back because of their limiting beliefs. So if you want to, this book is for anyone and everyone who finds themselves stuck And this book is for anyone and everyone who feels that they are here and they want to go here. So it doesn't matter where you are in your life, but it will take you more forward to where you want to go.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to read your book right now.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd be honored to pass one to you.
Awesome. Okay, well, we also have another question that came in. Is it okay for you for me to just to throw the question?
Absolutely.
We have this question from Sapna. Sapna says, sometimes being ourselves doesn't work for others. For example, we may be outspoken by nature and that may be misconstrued by others. You will have to mask yourself. So what are your thoughts?
Wow. Whew. I love the question. Thanks, Sapna, again. Again, it's going to be an eye-opener for everyone. And I honor all of you that are going out there and asking these questions because you're also helping yourself and you're also helping the rest around you. So amazing. Thank you. So Sapna, my thoughts are that, yes, I completely resonate with what you say because I went through it as well. And I think hence the whole masking thing felt like second nature, right? Because the other person can't accept your thoughts. And so you feel that since the other person can't accept your thoughts, you accept the other person's thoughts and you just keep your thoughts to yourself. But we don't realize that in that process, we're damaging ourselves. And not only that, we're damaging the other person. But until you find yourself coming out of it, you're not able to see that you're also damaging the other person. So because you're not able to see you're also damaging the other person, you think you're being selfless. And so you're just going to mask yourself, but you're not even aware that somehow you're damaging the other person. Why I can say this confidently today is because from my own life and the life of the people that I've coached is that I've seen transformations and witnessed them. And it's really an honor to be able to see that, is that initially any change is hard, right? So initially when you're going to unmask yourself, that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for you because you got so used to masking yourself, one. Two is when you unmask yourself, of course, the other person is not ready to receive it because the other person has been programmed to receive the masked version of you. So it's very difficult for the other person to immediately receive it. But again, the secret, and I hope you get a copy of this book, because honestly, it will take you to where you need to be. You will get answers to questions. You will be guided from your own inner soul. So I don't believe that an outside force can guide you as much as we are there as coaches to facilitate the process. But really, the whole inner strength comes from yourself. And what happens is, I've seen, again, witnesses, is that the other person's not able to accept that. So hence you mask yourself. But when you start being true to yourself, when you start honoring yourself and you start taking baby steps, even if the other person can't accept it, but you know you need to do it for you, start doing that. Baby steps. You can't change overnight and you can't suddenly be outspoken overnight and shock the other person and yourself, because that may backfire. But what I would say is baby steps. So if there was something that you were masking or were not doing for yourself all these years because you feel the other person can't accept, start taking baby steps. You know, if you've always said yes to something you always wanted to say no to, then maybe say yes 10 times, but the 11th time say no. I mean, see what works for you, but start doing those little baby steps forward for yourself, and you will be amazed, because initially you will see that that person can't accept. Even if you've said yes 10 times and the 11th time you said no, you will see that, but maintain that, because you know that you're doing it for you, and you need to be fair. If you can't even do that much for yourself, whereby you're just saying yes once, if this is your situation, start doing it and shock the other person. But it's going to be a little shock, because you can also the best part is if you're able to communicate to the person. So if that person reflects, flashes backlashes over you that, hey, bring the person to light, communicate with the person, and let the person know that, I did all these 10 things in this. I'm just saying an extreme case, right? So I did all these 10 things, even though I didn't feel like doing it, but I did it because I thought it'd make you happy. But I thought I'd do this one thing for myself. And when the person realizes, the thing is, sometimes the person's not able to see your perspective, but when you share it with love and communicate with love, you would be amazed and have your own breakthroughs, and you will realize, actually, the key to your life is with you. It's how you communicate with the other person. It's what you do with love. You don't have to fight with the person to get what you want. Do it with love. And I hope that answers your question, Sapna.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. And we have more people sending you your love as well, Julie. We have Kirataya saying much love to you, Jules. Loving
Oh,
the
thank you,
gems.
thank you, thank
Yes,
you so
I'm
much.
loving all the gems as well that Julie is sharing with us tonight. And then we have also another comment. Love your insights as always. Bring out the creator in you. Truly a transformational.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank
Yes.
you, thank you. I see Bangkok with me right now. Thank you. I mean, because of COVID, we're in one place, but you guys have taken me to the US, to Indonesia, and to Bangkok. Thank you.
Yeah. And then we also have one last comment that came in from Satna. Satna said, thank you, Julie. You radiate fabulous energy. Thanks for the explanation. Need to pick up your book and sure it will add value to my life.
Thank
Congratulations.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Sapna. Thank you.
So Julie, tell us, where can we get your book?
Where can you get my book? Well, you can get it online. So it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. It's on Balboa Press. It's on various online sites actually. Also, you can get physical copies and signed copies from me. I'm planning a book launch soon. So I will let you know on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I will be sharing that details there as well. And also you can reach out to me through Instagram and Facebook. I'll be happy to pass my signed copy to you. So yeah.
Yes. So for everybody, if you want to get a copy of Julie's book or get connected with Julie, you can connect with Julie on Facebook at Julie Shatlani Balani. All right. And then Julie's Instagram is the same as well. You can get connected with her on Instagram. So this is Julie's Instagram handle, Julie Shatlani Balani. And also, Julie has a YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to Julie's YouTube channel at Coach Julie. Just look for her. You will not miss her because she is so stunning. You would really recognize her in all the crowd. I mean, to be very frank with you, when I first met Julie at this event, she was invited on stage. She was handpicked to be invited on stage to talk about herself, talk about her journey. And then, when I saw this amazing woman who went up there, she immediately radiates a lot of love. And it is true. And tonight, I felt a lot of love coming from you, Julie, because a person who has love and is filled, as you said, if your cup is filled and you're overflowing with love. So this is what I got from you. And today, for everybody who has logged on today to listen to this and watch this interview, and those who are watching the replay, you can immediately see this woman, this is who you get. She is what it is. She is what you see. She just radiates with a lot of love. And I'm so honored, really, Julie. I'm so honored to have you here because, you actually made my day. Made my day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so have you made not only my day, but I'm sure many others as well. So thank you. I honor you as well. And Carol, if I could share one more thing, as you were sharing, I was an insight came through and I wanted to share. Yes. So when you shared to the audience, and you brought back a flashback for me as well, that I was handpicked in that conference, and I believe there was 1,000 people there. Am I correct in saying that? Yes. So this is something interesting I would love to share with you because I don't think I got to share with anyone. Is that I share this in my book as well, which is this book also talks about manifestations. And so I share tools, processes, and techniques to manifest. And now that you brought this up, it's interesting because I manifested that. I manifested that I will be talking to a crowd of 1,000 people. I didn't know when and where that was going to happen. Or I didn't know I was going to that conference also when I manifested that. And there was another part of me that my journey also started with the full moon. So I share insights about that in my book as well. And so it was a month before the conference that we went to, and I had no idea I was going for the conference, that I manifested that I will be talking and sharing my journey and my story and inspiring and impacting 1,000 people. And I didn't know how that was going to happen because, I mean, really, there was no such plan on my agenda. And interestingly, when I was handpicked at the conference, why I was getting goosebumps is I said, all the time when I went up on stage and I was handpicked there, I was like, oh my God, I manifested this. Oh my God, I manifested this. Like, I can't believe my manifestation came live. I mean, it has on many occasions, but that was just 1,000 people out of nowhere. And I've gone to so many conferences, but I've never been around 1,000 people. And how did this happen? And I was handpicked out of 1,000 people. So I wanted to share that we are really creators. And I share that in my book because we all have the power to manifest inside us. And what links us to what we face in front of our life now are our thoughts. And that's why I believe in mindset wholly, because as you think, your feelings comes from your thoughts. So the moment you think and feel a certain way, you act a certain way. and life brings what it does in front of you. So if you change your thoughts, you will change the way you feel. And the moment you change the way you feel and you vibrate energetically differently, you will act a certain way and you will see that your life change. So I strongly believe and love to share this, this formula that I live by: E plus R equal O. Events plus response equal outcome. So a lot of times we find ourselves in situations, circumstances, or environment whereby the event is uncontrollable. And there you have the outcome. But what changes the outcome is how you respond to it. So choose your responses wisely.
Awesome. Okay, well, as we are coming towards the end of the show, thank you so much, for all this amazing sharing. Because I think, under normal circumstances, people will have to book your time, to have a coaching session with you in order to hear all this from you. So tonight, you have given us so much value. So Julie, before we end the broadcast, right, the name of the show is Rise, right? So perhaps would you like to share with all of us, what does the word rise, R-I-S-E, means to you?
Wow. Yes, absolutely. And I do this to myself every day. So yes, the word rise to me would be raise inner strength every day. So if all of us could raise our inner strength every day, you would witness your own transformation.
Yes, and I couldn't agree with you more. So before we end, we'd like to, show more of all these comments from our audience today who are very, very engaging. Thank you so much for your engagement and also tuning in to watch Julie and to hear from her. So we have Bibi saying, great insight to take little steps. Yes, taking little steps. You can start taking little steps today, start taking steps tomorrow. Wake up and do something. Set yourself an intention. Spend time with yourself. It's part of self-love. This is what Julie had shared earlier. Okay, we have Bibi saying, thank you, Carol and Julie. And then we have Poonam saying, you are incredible, Julie. And I can't agree with you more, Poonam. Julie is really, really incredible.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so humbled. I'm so honored. Thank you.
I'm also very, very thankful that we have this capability and this opportunity to have this conversation, because I remember meeting you there, and then you did share with me as well, that you actually manifested that you wanted to be able to speak in front of 1,000 people, and it happened. And when you told me, you had this look on your face that you couldn't believe that it happened to you. But the thing is, it is what it is, right? Because your mind is so powerful. If you think that you can, you can.
Absolutely.
And this is what happened to Julie. So, for
and Carol.
Thank you as well. For everybody who's actually watching this, I mean, if it can happen to Julie, it can happen to you as well. So start taking charge, and start taking baby steps towards the goal that you want. So if you're looking for someone to guide you through, you can get in touch with Julie. She's a transformation coach herself. And if you need somebody to help you through, because frankly, we can all need a coach in our life to help us through the journey, right? And for me, I won't be here today if it hadn't been the guidance and also, this hand holding with a coach myself. So with that, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this Thursday evening. And something that also just came into my mind, Julie, today is actually full moon.
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. So it's so interesting because when you reached out to me, I didn't know it was a full moon. And honestly, every month I mark my calendar because I like to be aware that it's a full moon. I like to give gratitude and honor it. And I also recently, for the past 6 months, fast on every full moon. So I mark my calendar, so I'm aware of it. And this is the first time I didn't mark my calendar, but I marked my calendar for our date. And suddenly it was brought to my awareness 2 days before that, hey, it's a full moon. And I said, oh my goodness. And Carol invited me for this during the full moon. I mean, I said to my husband, now this is not a coincidence.
No, not at all.
So thank you. It was amazing because you reached out to me. If I was to set a date, I'll be like, oh, that was my hidden agenda. But you reached out to me and it's a full moon. So thank you. I'll honor you even more so now.
We should really catch up soon since we live so close by to each other.
Absolutely. I look
Yeah.
forward to that.
Yeah, me too. And I can't believe, I really, really can't believe it took us like a year, to really have this conversation. I wish that I could have this conversation with you sooner. But then again, I guess, things has to happen in God's timing somehow. And this is the
Absolutely.
right
And a
timing.
year
Full
later
moon.
on a full moon.
Yes. How amazing is that, right? Not a coincidence, but it's really, really amazing. So today, it's really, the best day of my life so far. Thank you,
Wow, I'm
Julie.
honored. I'm honored and humbled. Thank you so much.